Shout out to all the fans and thank you very much. Welcome back to the second episode of the Get It Right Saturday Night podcast. I'm your host, Mark Francis, here with Colin Fursley and Oscar Morale.
Hey, good to see you guys again.
Let's get right into it.
All right, let's go. Another week, another episode of the Get It Right. We're gonna start off now with something that just happened yesterday. The World Series had just finished. The Rangers they took the series in 5 games over the Arizona Diamondbacks. What did you guys think of it?
Boy, were we wrong. We were talking about this is going to be a competitive, tight-knit series. Man, a lot of these games were pure domination.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the entirety of Game One. It was such a good game. The Diamondbacks were winning for such a long amount of time, and then in the ninth inning, Corey Seager hit a clutch game-tying home run, sent it to
MVP.
extras, and then MVP. And then Adolis, he does everything, and he just hit that walk-off home run in the 11th, I believe it was. Here are the games. They won Game
El
1
Bombi.
5-6.
El Bombi.
Dude, crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, look, the Diamondbacks here they were winning 5-1 until the ninth inning, and then
I think
Corey Seager
first of
happened.
all, we gotta give a special congratulations to Bruce Bocci. Joins
Oh,
an
man.
elite club,
Absolutely.
4 World Series won as a manager. So
He's one of the greatest managers of all time now, and he turned the team around from being one of the worst to winning the World Series in the span of 3 years. So,
oh yeah,
kudos to him for being such a great manager. And he said it in one of his interviews. He said he wasn't going to come back to manage unless it was a team that he knew had the capabilities to win a World Series. And man, he was right. He had it.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy that he just happened to come back after retiring, managing the Giants for so many years, and then he just comes back first year, bang, World Series, absolutely ridiculous. The Diamondbacks they came back and tied in Game 2. They actually
Yeah.
obliterated them 9-1, and you
Yeah.
thought, dang, this could be a series, and then it goes back to
no,
the Diamondbacks, which home field advantage for the Rangers meant absolutely nothing. 11-0 on the road this entire
Yep.
postseason, absolutely
Insane.
dominant, and yeah, their offense was ridiculous. Now I will say though, Game 5 yesterday, Zach Gallen had a no hitter through what 6 innings or something
5
like
innings,
that.
I believe.
Five
It was 5
five
innings.
innings.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then it just all
That's
turned around in the sixth, and then
former
Marcus Semien
Marlin,
ended
by
the
the way.
ninth.
Former Marlin.
A former Marlin, that is true. We did trade
Yeah.
him for it was either Jazz Chisholm or
It
Starling
was
Marte. I remember
it
the
was
Marlins.
Jazz.
It was
It was
Jazz.
Jazz Chisholm. Yep.
Yeah, the Marlins did 2 trades with the Diamondbacks in that same year. One was for Starling Marte, the other one was for Jazz Chisholm.
Yep. And look who's in the
I
World
mean,
Series and look who isn't.
yeah. Well,
What's
no,
going on, Marlins?
Colin,
I can't. Yeah.
that's a great mention that you did right there with that 11-0 stat was really the difference maker for them this whole playoff series. Their
Oh, for sure.
dominant their dominant outings away from home. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen that in my lifetime. A team win all of their games
No.
away from home throughout the whole playoffs. I mean, that's crazy, and that's really something special that team can be proud of now.
Yeah. There was
Well, I
something
mean,
not. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
well, I was going to say that this whole postseason was riddled with many, many different accomplishments and records that were broken. And, it really shows what some of these teams, these players are capable of doing and turning around a lot of these teams. I mean, I believe it was a 20 hit streak for Ketel Marte.
Yeah.
If
Oh my
I'm not
God, that
mistaken.
was unreal.
I mean, that's unheard of, and he really dominated on that side of the ball. And it's all offense postseason. It's all offense, and that was very shown.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
and ironically, Ketel Marte was actually the last out of the game, and he did not record a hit in that Game 5 loss. So that's
Wasn't
unfortunate. But
meant
he
to
did have
be.
a really good postseason.
yeah, it's a rough way to go out.
Yeah.
But
Something interesting. Sorry, Oscar. I just wanted to mention
no,
this
go
because
ahead,
you
please.
touched on the fact that the Rangers were so dominant away. Not not throughout the entire postseason, but in 2019, the World Series between the Nationals and the Astros. Just fun fact: the away team, it won the game. The series won 7 games. The away team won every single game. So
Mhm.
the Astros had home field advantage, and they lost the series 4-3 because the Nationals won every single game in Houston. Houston won every single game in Washington. I just thought that was something to point out.
Yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
it shows the significance of home field and advantage for both teams, whether you have the advantage or not, and how important it is to protect home field, especially in baseball. You know, because it's each field is so different as opposed to in other sports where each field is the same. In baseball, you really have those unique characteristics at each ballpark that really does help the home team usually have an advantage. But
Mhm.
Well,
you
I
know,
will say that, to be honest, I don't I think when I think of home field advantage, I think more so the fans and how the crowd interacts with the game. I
Yeah.
honestly I disagree with you a little bit. I feel like in baseball the crowd doesn't play as much of a factor in the
no,
game
no.
as it does in the NFL and other
Or
sports.
basketball.
So
No, no, I agree with you on that as well. I'm saying more just familiarity within the ballpark, uh,
yeah, that's true. That is true.
especially with if you're a hitter that, likes to hit it to the right, to the left, down the middle, and the ballpark is just not not suited for that, it could really be a bad day for you going up against certain teams that play in certain stadiums that just
You
are a
know,
bad
two
mismatch for you.
two great examples of that really would be Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park,
Right.
because Yankee Stadium by the posts it is it's so short. I mean, a high school JV student could possibly hit a home run at Yankee Stadium, and Fenway as well. You have the Green Monster.
Yeah,
If
right.
you're a righty, you're gonna struggle to hit, but if you're a lefty at Fenway, you can hit it right into the wall that I mean, it's not even as high as our desks. So,
Yeah,
it really shows a lot of that. And
a home run down the right field line there is just under 300 feet. It's the shortest home run in all of
mhm,
Major League Baseball.
insane. Another thing I did want to mention, which was I found kind of interesting. The last time, as you guys remember, Randy Johnson's infamous clip of when he pitched and hit a bird.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, so there are people speculating because the same thing had happened this year with, I believe it was Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks. He
Yeah,
was
yeah,
warming up, he hit a bird as he was throwing the ball, and everyone said this is meant to be. Every time they hit a bird, they're gonna win the World Series. Now, unfortunately, that wasn't evident with this World Series outcome, but I did find that pretty interesting that both of these pitchers, that Randy Johnson, arguably one of the greatest of all time, uh, kind of cool how people speculated about that. And if
yeah.
the
It's pretty cool.
Diamondbacks had won, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right. I think it was a good series. I wish it could have lasted a little longer, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
the
as
Rangers.
good
Congratulations to the
as good
Rangers.
as it could be, right? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
you just have to respect dominance in that
yeah,
sort of
Absolutely.
fashion.
yeah.
And
Well,
congratulations to Texas for winning finally their first World
yeah. First
Series
World
after their
Series.
heartbreak in 2011. And
Yep.
welcome to the club.
Yep. I will. I just want to point out that the Marlins still have more World Series wins than the Rangers. But
Yeah.
anyway, we'll move ahead now to news around the NBA. James Harden has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Oh
So,
God, here we
what
go
are you guys'
again.
thoughts on the trade?
Oscar, go ahead.
Yep.
Hey man,
Here,
you know what?
here's the trade details, by the way.
No, yeah, I know them pretty well. Honestly, I think PJ Tucker and James Harden uh were the main pieces of that trade. Philip Petrusev was just filler there, but the Clippers gave up quite a bit
Yeah.
for Harden and PJ Tucker. I think a little overrated. If I had to grade it, winners and losers. I mean, you look at what the Clippers kept. I mean, they kept Terrence Mann, they kept Russell Westbrook. They didn't give up any other, I guess, key pieces. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard's still there. You look at that team on paper, right? And that's a really good team on paper. But
It's a great team.
I just, I have a feeling there's too many personalities on that team. Westbrook and Harden. Um, Meshing together. I don't know how that's gonna work. I also think that Russell Westbrook was really finding his stride, surprisingly, towards the latter end of last year's season, as a starter in Los Angeles, and now how's that dynamic gonna work with Harden there? Um, are they gonna have Westbrook coming off the bench, or is Harden gonna start being their starting point guard? Are they gonna play Harden at the two? Maybe to his older days in Houston, is that's what's gonna happen? I don't know. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they manage that, schematically speaking. PJ Tucker is a great addition to any team. Adds a
Yep.
lot of versatility. You can run a lot of different lineups with him. But I think the Clippers. It would be a really good trade if I see that the Clippers have a sense of direction, because the Clippers just seem like they are heading in no direction whatsoever. I don't know what to take away from this trade. I mean, they got rid of Harden. Clearly, I think that was the best decision they could have done. You never want a disgruntled player or a disgruntled diva, dare I say, on your team. And this is same old, same old. I mean, we've seen this now happen 4 times with Harden,
Yep.
damn near. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see. Shakes up the league a little. If the Clippers, I mean, my apologies. If the 76ers could find some direction, I think they could get a lot out of this trade. Start trading for some assets. Maybe even move on from Embiid. I think
I
Embiid
think
wants
that's the
to,
next play.
right. Maybe you restart and you go in all in on a new team instead of meandering throughout the seasons. You trade away Embiid. You mean he's as valuable as he's ever going to be. He just won the MVP. You get a lot of assets in return. You have a lot of pieces to play with,
Yep.
and somehow you recovered after all of those drafts you had in the middle of the 2010s. So I think it's interesting. If they find a direction, this could be a pretty good trade for the 76ers. But right now, I think it's a lose-lose for both teams. I mean, they're both not really in any situation right now. What do you guys think? Sorry, I know I went on there for a bit.
It's going to be interesting with the Clippers now because Harden is he's a ball hawk, and Westbrook he's also a ball hawk, and Kawhi ball hawk, Paul George ball hawk. You have four really good players that are high up in age, and you don't know how long they're gonna last. We know the duo of Westbrook and Harden, back at their OKC days, so we know that they have
And Houston too.
connection.
And
And
Houston too.
Houston,
This is their third time playing together
yeah.
on 3 different teams.
And then of course you have PG and Kawhi who've been playing in LA. Now I don't know how many games they've played together fully because there's never really been a whole healthy full season there, and I think that's what's gonna decide how good and how far the Clippers make it. It's how healthy they are. Now, yeah, they have assets, and if Westbrook comes off the bench, he's a great sixth man. I mean, he's a really solid player, but it really is all gonna come down to how healthy these guys can stay. And if James Harden does his stupid shenanigans that he's been doing in all the different cities that he's been in,
I mean,
there
this
there are other
is
odds.
you're
Their odds
completely
are
right,
high.
Mark. This is the same story we've been writing about the Clippers for 4 seasons now. If they
Yep.
can stay healthy, this is a great team. But at this point, that's a very big if. I find this sad to say, but somehow, some way, they always find a way to be injured
Yeah.
at the end of the season, and it's really
Yeah.
sad to see, man.
And it
Yeah.
really is. And their coaching as well could, decent coaching, but if
Bro,
they don't have someone like
Ty Lue's amazing. What are you talking about?
No, no,
yeah,
I had to
but
disagree with you on
No,
there,
but
Mark.
Mark.
but
Ty Lue
but
is a
he's
top 3 coach in the league.
I know that, but they don't have
I know where
a
he's going with this.
he's a very good coach. Don't get me wrong. We know that. But what have they done in the last 5 years, 4 years? They haven't even made it to the Western Finals. How?
Because they don't have any players. They don't have any players. Everyone's injured.
Then something's wrong with whatever
It's not the
coaching and
coach's
is
fault
Mark,
that
is
Mark,
Kawhi
something's
Leonard's
Mark,
going
Mark,
on
injured.
over
Mark.
there.
That's cap, Mark. Mark, you're capping right there. They
Mark,
got they got
you
they got
can't
great,
blame Ty
yeah.
Lue for Kawhi Leonard being injured all the time. That's not his fault.
But
Mark does not know ball.
I don't know, man. I think if they stay healthy, they're gonna be. It could be the Clippers versus the
Mark,
Celtics.
bruh, stop the cap, bruh. Come on now.
That's all I'll say.
Honestly, honestly, I think
They've
that
just
the
had health
Sixers.
problems. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's what I'm gonna say. The Sixers, first of all, starting off with the Sixers, I think they did pretty well. James Harden wasn't going to play for them anyway, so they basically gave up PJ Tucker and Phillip, whatever that you are, for all those assets with a bunch of draft picks. I think the Sixers they did pretty well. Um, with the Clippers, we've already seen this story before, man. The Brooklyn Nets that didn't work, and they had you can say Kevin, you could say that team might be. I mean, the Clippers now they have an extra, they have a fourth. It's the big four instead of the big three, but still, we had the same old story with the Clippers. I mean, with the Nets, and that did not work at all. So I think the same thing is going to happen here. I don't see how all the four guys can work together and be successful. I think it'd be cool if they did, and I'm not upset with this at all because the Heat are not in the Western Conference, so that's fine by me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just don't believe in it right now until they stay healthy and they actually can learn to play together. So that's my opinion on this situation.
It's going to be an interesting season, to say the
Oh
least.
yeah,
A lot of
for
things have been
sure.
Yeah,
shaken up, and
yeah,
a lot of teams are doing good, and a lot of teams are doing bad, and
hmm
I guess we're not gonna know.
yep, that is true. All right, we will continue on now and talk about college football. The first college football playoff rankings came out this on Tuesday actually, and what do you guys think about? Do you think that they ranked them well? Do you agree with Ohio State jumping Georgia for the number one spot? What are you guys'
Nope.
thoughts on this?
I
No, you
think
don't.
Georgia should be number one.
Yeah, I mean
Why?
let's address the elephant in the room.
They haven't lost. I think they're 23-0 right now. They haven't
Well,
lost a game, and
well, yeah, okay.
I mean
That
they're
yeah,
they're
but this is the 2023 ranking. This isn't 2021 and 2022.
yeah,
The
I
same
know,
the
but
players are
Yeah,
not
still,
but
there anymore.
yeah,
the
Colin.
reigning
Yeah, it doesn't
back-to-back
matter.
champs. It doesn't
They're
matter, man.
they're the team to beat. They're number one. They're still undefeated. They're
Yeah,
the reigning champs. They're also playing like the best. Uh,
Really,
I think they got it wrong. Plain and simple.
I
I
think
I I wouldn't
I
be surprised if Ohio State loses a game, and next thing you know, Washington's going to be up in that top four. I would not hate that at all. I think that'd be amazing. But it's a hot take on my part.
I I think they got it right actually. When I was watching when they released it live and they released the top four like a single teams, and I predicted at number four Florida State, number three Michigan, two Georgia. Like I that they did exactly what I thought should have happened.
Oh,
Reason
so I get it.
being,
This is a pride thing for you, Colin, huh? Is what
no,
it is.
absolutely not. No,
Yeah.
because I don't care about the top three teams. I just care about Florida State, and I didn't put Florida State at number one, so it's not a pride thing.
It's okay,
Uh,
Colin. Just admit it. There's agenda pushing going on here.
no, no. Let me explain. Let me explain.
Let's hear it.
Georgia destroyed UF. Okay, dominant win. Good for them.
Yep.
I'm not saying they're bad. They're amazing. They're 8-0, but so are the top five teams. But that's beside the point. Um, Ohio. Besides the UF game, and besides when they play horrible teams, they've been struggling. They struggled against South Carolina. They struggled against I don't remember the other team that they played, but they haven't been winning these games as convincingly as you think the Georgia Bulldogs would win.
You know
Um,
what?
so I don't think number two Ohio State number one they beat top I don't know what number they were, maybe sixth ranked Penn State, and then they beat before that they beat Notre Dame at Notre Dame. They have the two best wins in the country so far, and
Yeah,
their
but they
defense has
barely
been
beat
playing
Notre Dame.
absolute lights out.
Well, you know
Yeah, but their
what?
defense has been playing lights out, and Notre Dame is not bad either. Notre Dame is a good
Yeah.
football team. Ohio State has been playing really, really well. Georgia and Ohio State are both undefeated, but Georgia has played really well and beaten really, really good teams, and Georgia has struggled against bad teams. That's my take. Michigan, their schedule. Look at their schedule. They've been playing D3 teams the entire year. They haven't actually been playing football. Their schedule picks up a little bit, but they play Ohio State. That might determine who makes the top four.
You know
I
what?
I, I
I
think
Florida,
was about to
that's going to
say
be the game of the year.
yeah,
that's
that's gonna
not just
that's gonna
that.
be a huge game.
They play Ohio State and
I
they play Penn
I would
State.
I would rank Ohio State over Michigan, but just I don't know
For sure.
why. I just have a gut feeling. Call it personal bias. I don't like any of these teams, but call it what you will. I just think Michigan in that game is going to be Ohio State. Ohio State, every game they look a little weaker. Like you find something out about Ohio State every time.
Yeah,
I
well,
see them
Well,
I'm
play.
not.
yeah.
I'm not an Ohio State fan. I don't want them to be number one. I want Florida State to be number one. But I can even admit that that's not going to happen. But I just think as of right now, Ohio State is the number one team. I think they got it right. Georgia has not been playing to the Georgia Bulldogs standard. Um, I will say though, I don't necessarily think the loser of Ohio State Michigan is out of the top four because Washington has been. They start off super hot. But they've been struggling as of late. Their biggest big win, obviously, against Oregon, who's at the spot behind them at number 6. Oregon is a better football team than Washington, I think. They've been dominating their teams way more than Washington. Washington's been struggling. They almost lost to Arizona State. I think I mentioned that in the
Yeah.
last episode. I think Oregon is better than Washington. I don't disagree the fact that Washington is ahead of Oregon because they beat them, but I just think as of right now, Oregon is better. Uh, and because that Washington has been struggling, I think that the loser. My point was the loser of Ohio State Michigan might fall to number 4 if Washington continues to struggle. I think that the top four right now could remain the top 4 even after the Ohio State Michigan game.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, those four are the teams to beat this year in college football.
You know,
Mhm.
one thing I do want to mention as well is that Florida State also does have a really easy schedule going forward. Just a little
I
thing. They're not
disagree.
playing.
I mean,
Who
I'm
who do you who
okay.
do you, who do you who do you think?
Okay, I'm not saying that and UF are good because they're not, but
Yeah,
they're rivalry games. And same thing in the NFL. When you play a divisional game, it's different than a regular matchup. The Bills lost to
yeah.
the Patriots. Okay, so
Let
so
them
I
know.
think
Let them
Florida
know,
But
State.
Carlos.
if you're ranked top 4, man,
Yeah.
if you're one of the top 4 teams in college
Hmm.
football right now, I don't
Yeah.
think there's any reason to lose to your divisional rival at all.
No. I don't. No. Florida State's gonna win. That's not my concern. They're gonna win. I'm just
Hey
saying
man,
it's not gonna
we'll
be a
see. We'll see,
cakewalk.
won't we? We will see.
No,
Uh,
no.
We'll
Look,
see.
Florida State. They've had. Look,
That would that would
they
be a
beat
delight.
LSU. LSU's been dominant. I think they beat like Army 68 or something like that to 0. LSU's 14. They beat LSU to open the season. They beat Clemson, who at the time I believe was ranked 25. I know they haven't been playing well, but still Clemson, still a rivalry game, and they beat them. And they've been dominating their opponents for the most part. They've had a little hiccups here and there, but Keon Coleman is a dog. Jordan Travis is a dog, Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah.
I I don't think they're gonna lose to or to UF. But my point is that even though they're not ranked, even though they're not viewed as the best teams in the country, it's still going to be a hard fought game because of that rivalry. And I
Yeah,
think you have to take
but you know,
a little bit into
another
that.
thing we should mention
Colin,
because
I
the
couldn't agree with you anymore.
That's
You know,
oh,
I
I don't
don't
mean to say
think
this.
UM's gonna be FSU, but you know what? If it does happen, wouldn't that make my day?
if it does happen, I think FSU would drop down a lot because
Oh
Oh, for
yeah,
sure,
look at
absolutely.
if you look at Washington's schedule, all right,
Hmm.
they're playing USC, they're playing Utah, and they're playing Oregon State. Both teams also
Yeah,
ranked in the top 25. USC, all right, yeah, they're ranked 24th, but they have a really solid team. Sometimes they just can't execute, which is why they're so low and they're losing these games. USC is a great team. I wouldn't be surprised if Ohio State loses a game, Washington continues to dominate like how they have been, and Washington goes up into that top 4, and we could see Washington and Oregon go into that top 4 with Georgia and Michigan, and Florida State and Ohio State drop out. I mean, and
yeah,
at
for sure.
this rate, anything's possible. I mean,
yeah,
we're still
No,
4 weeks
I
out, so it's gonna be
definitely.
no,
fun. It's gonna be so fun to
I
watch.
I agree. I think the teams on the screen right there, Alabama, Texas, Oregon, Washington, the teams below Florida State, they all have much harder
Yeah,
schedules than Florida State. If Florida State loses, I think they're definitely out of it, even if
yeah,
it's
for
just one
sure,
loss.
for sure.
All
They're
right.
playing North
Uh,
Alabama.
okay, and Michigan play like no, that's not an excuse. Every team plays a bad team, Mark. Every single team plays a bad team. Search it up.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying
Fact,
they lose to them.
NFL time.
okay.
Breaking news out of the NFL. We'll get to the trade deadline, not quite yet. Josh McDaniels, the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, as well
Former.
as their GM, have been fired. No, you can't. A former thing can't be fired. Anyway, they have been fired. Uh, I mean, I know Devontae Adams is really happy right
Yeah,
now.
I think their offensive coordinator was also let go recently. No.
Yep, the
I'm
offensive
not a.
coordinator was. Yep, offensive
Oh,
coordinator
he
was let go
was.
as well.
Yeah,
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 I
yeah.
didn't even know that. Well, and now they have an interim head coach,
the
and also
linebacker
another
coach, I
the
believe, right?
linebacker coach, and another news that kind of went under the radar with all this is that they also benched Jimmy
Bench
Garoppolo
Jimmy
for
Garoppolo.
Aiden
Yeah.
O'Connell, so that's
Hey,
going to be interesting. I will say though that the last time this happened, the Raiders fired John Gruden. Rich Bisaccia came in, became their interim head coach, and they got so much better after their interim head coach went in. They fired John Gruden. They actually
yeah.
did really really well to finish that year. So who knows? Maybe the same thing
They
can
have
happen.
they have a great team. I mean, let's okay.
I don't know about
Let
I don't
hold
know
on,
about a
hold on.
great
They
team.
have a good team.
It's okay.
They have
I
a
think there's a
one of the
difference
best running
between
backs.
great and good, and they have a very good offensive team. You know, they
Yeah,
really do. They have all the weapons there to be an amazing offense, and they haven't been. And they were last year, which is really sad to see to everybody. So I think Devontae Adams, you know, he said it himself. He's very unhappy, but uh, he doesn't want the media to take him the wrong way. You know,
yeah.
it's not like he's trying to get out of that situation. He fully bought in. He wants to be there, but obviously, you know, nobody likes losing. And you know what? I fully agree with him. I would be insanely unhappy as well if I was in that situation.
I would be
So
annoyed as a player if I had my star quarterback overthrow me on two wide open passes in a game that would have changed the game fully.
I don't
you
think
know what?
Josh
Yeah,
McDaniels would consider Jimmy Garoppolo to be a star quarterback. But
Well,
okay,
I'm
I
just
don't think
saying
I would either.
he was in this I-
He's a star
he
in
was
other
in this he's a
industries. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's funny.
okay, man.
Where's the laughs at, man?
Oh well,
Loosen up, Colin. Come on now. Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, that's what I love to hear.
That was a good one, Oscar.
Yeah, thank you. No, but truthfully, you know, Devontae Adams, you know, he was recruited there. He wanted to play with his old college teammate, Derek Carr, and a season in, they trade him away to the Saints, which is a whole different story. But you know, I could see why Devontae Adams he's dealing with a lot of frustration right now, and
Yeah.
it's not like he's kept it to himself. You know, he's been pretty verbal about it, and he said, "Hey, we need to change things in order to play better." You know, all he really cares about right now is winning. It's not like it's a personal thing. You can't blame him for being, you know, a diva or being a personal player who just cares about his personal stats. I mean, if he's the best receiver on the team, you better get him the damn ball. Okay,
Yeah.
you guys want to win or you don't. It's simple as that, and I think he's right in this situation.
It's
better get him
plain
the ball.
plain and simple.
I need my fantasy team to do well, man. Get him the
Oh
Hey,
yeah,
ball.
me
same
too.
here, bro. Same here.
You guys all have Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
Yeah, in one of my leagues I have
So
Devontae
so we
Adams.
all have Austin Eckler and we all have Devontae Adams. All
Yeah.
right,
that's
that's
You know what's
wonderful.
funny? I lost in my league last week by
uh
less than .5 because
oh,
of
that's
Devontae
unfortunate.
Adams. Very
Well,
That's
unfortunate.
unfortunate.
funny enough, the team that I have Devontae Adams with on paper is my best team, but uh, record-wise is my worst team. So please get Devontae Adams the ball.
Yeah.
I do want to mention while we're on the topic of fantasy football, Oscar, man, what happened? What happened, Oscar? What
Devontae Adams
happened?
happened.
The Oh man, yeah. In my other league, I have Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. Actually, no, it's your league. I'm
It's
talking
our
about our
league.
league,
You
Oscar.
have both of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Devontae Adams happened. He got 2 points. What do you mean Devontae Adams happened?
Oh wait, no, that's in my other league. I think you're right. Wait, in our league, let me check out what happened last week.
My point is that I beat Oscar, and my two
Oh,
receivers
oh,
are Devontae
Mahomes,
Adams and Jacoby
Mahomes
Myers.
happened.
Well,
Mahomes
yeah,
happened.
Mahomo? I mean
yeah,
Mahomes?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's why I
Mahomes,
lost. It's because of
kid
Patrick
friendly,
Mahomes.
Mark. Uh, yeah. Well, anyway,
Otherwise,
also in
no.
the NFL.
Hey, Colin,
Oh,
if Mahomes would have played like not even like standard, even just a bit subpar, I still would have won this week.
well, if my receivers didn't combine for 5 points, I would have won
If
too.
Taylor Swift was at the game, Mahomes would have done good.
Oh my god. Well,
Basically,
good thing she ain't coming this week. All right.
Thank
Also in the
God.
NFL,
thank the
the trade
gods.
deadline. There are four players, four trades that happened that I want to highlight real quick. First up, Montez Sweat. The Commanders traded Montez Sweat to the Chicago Bears for a second round pick. I don't.
That's
This trade confuses me because I don't know why the Chicago Bears are
Bears.
buyers at the trade
Yeah.
deadline.
I think
That
they
doesn't
should
make.
be sellers.
Yeah, I
I
don't
mean,
know
it's
why they
plain
did
and
that.
simple.
Well,
the I don't
I
know. It
could
didn't
I
make
could
any sense
see
to
I
me.
could see why. I mean, they're just trying to, you know what? Maybe this season they don't end up doing anything, but they're trying to build on something. I don't think they want to give up on Justin Fields just yet. They're trying to build up a defense if they are going to start being a bit better, and I can see why. You know, they're thinking long term, but yeah, it's definitely not something you would have expected. I'm actually more surprised by the Commanders and their actions on the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand though why the Bears would trade a second round pick for Montez Sweat is really really good, but a second round pick seems a little high. Also, additionally, while considering the fact that the Commanders also traded the former second overall pick Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers for a
For
third round pick.
a third
So
rounder,
they value Chase Young, I guess,
less
less
than
than
Montez
Montez Sweat.
Sweat.
So the
But
Bears, a worse team, gave up more to get, in my opinion, a slightly worse player. Whereas the San Francisco 49ers, one of the best teams in the league, despite the fact that they've lost 3 straight games,
3 straight,
get
yeah.
Chase Young for only, I mean, not only a third round pick, but a third round pick for Chase Young is pretty solid.
Bosa and Chase Young
It's
reunited.
crazy. No,
This
that's
is
just crazy.
this defense. This San Francisco. Let me just say this real quick. This San Francisco defense is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. They have. I mean,
It's a
I'm
Madden
sorry.
team out
Their
there.
pass
Yeah.
rush is phenomenal. This is the best pass rushing team we have seen in a long time. In a long time, and I know it. They lost 3 straight, but this defense is gonna step up,
No,
and
yeah,
this team
I
is
have
about
no
to go
doubt that
crazy.
San Francisco is gonna figure it out.
Oh yeah,
It's like a Madden team out there, man. That's truly what they're doing.
you know,
They're just picking out whatever player they want and getting them over there. I mean, they did the same thing with McCaffrey last year.
yep. Well,
And
another trade I kind of want to
yeah,
talk
go
about
ahead.
real quick.
Mhm.
The Joshua Dobbs to the
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah.
So as the heartbreaking news of Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles, I mean that's
Yeah,
just
you never
brutal
want to
because
hear
he
that.
was playing out
Yeah,
of his mind. Second in passing yards, I believe first in touchdowns.
tied. Yeah, he was tied with
Tied
Yeah,
for
Tua, I
first
believe.
with the
he's
goat too.
you know, he's playing out of his mind, and you know, I like Kirk Cousins as a player. I think he's one of the most down to earth people in the NFL, and you know, everyone should respect him. I knew Josh Dobbs was getting traded before they even announced he was traded because coach said they're not starting him, right? It's either going to be Kyler or the rookie, and I believe it's the rookie that's starting this week. So everyone knew that Josh Dobbs was about to get traded, and you know, to the Vikings expected,
Traded for
right?
a he was traded along with a seventh round pick to the Minnesota Vikings for a sixth round pick. So they got him for absolutely
For
nothing. They got him
absolutely
for
nothing.
free.
You know,
Uh,
Josh Dobbs, he's a decent quarterback playing on a pretty bad team like that, and he was doing all right. You know, I think the values of all these receivers over there, like Justin Jefferson, Addison, and Osborne, is gonna drop a little bit. But as for T.J. Hawkinson's sake, Josh Dobbs was the targeted the tight end the third most in the league. So for T.J. Hawkinson, I think it's gonna be really good for him, and you know, I think it's gonna be a cool offense how they run like that. I wouldn't be
and then
surprised if they
also
still continue doing well.
yeah, and then also bad news for the Dolphins and anyone in the AFC East. The Green Bay Packers sent a the Green Bay Packers sent Rasul Douglas and a fifth round pick to the Buffalo Bills for a third round pick. He is really really good, and I think he's
Yeah,
going to improve that Bills secondary that's been absolutely depleted with the injuries with Tre'Davious White. Um, yeah. So now let's move
Well,
along now to
shortly,
oh yeah,
Colin. Wait,
go ahead.
before we move on,
Yeah,
I
what's
wanted to
up?
say, man, the Commanders. What's their game plan, man? You know, you draft
I don't
Chase
know.
Young, you draft a bunch of guys as of late. You know, I'm talking about 2019, 2020 moving forward. A bunch of your defensive core going forward with a purpose. You know, I kind of see what they're building in
yeah,
Washington. You know, you could say maybe in the next 4 years, Washington could contend if they get the right pieces. And they decided to just throw it all away. And on what? I mean, you guys touched on this: a third round draft pick and a second round draft pick, right? Like, I truly don't understand. Like, you draft a guy like Trace Young, you know, second overall pick. You know, this is a guy that you want in your franchise, to be the cornerstone possibly of your franchise. You know, facing your franchise, moving on for the next 7 years or or whatever it may be, and a guy you really bank on it, and you throw him away to the Giants, uh, they're in the same conference as you. You can't say they're in the AFC. They're in the NFC. If you do go to the playoffs, you're definitely going to see them within the next 10 years or so. They got a really stacked team, and you're just making the rich richer. So I don't understand what's going on in the office of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. No, I agree with
It's
you. I
it's
agree
sad
with
to
It's
you.
see.
it's
Really
weird,
interesting.
and I did notice something. They have decent wide receiver weapons. They have Johan Dotson and they have Terry McLaurin. I would not have been surprised if they traded one of their receivers to a team
Right?
needing a
It
receiver,
makes
like
yeah, it
like
makes a
to
little
the
more sense.
Bears, to the Bears. Trade Johan Dotson, okay, to the Bears. You have DJ.
Jahan. It's Jahan Dotson.
It's Johan, okay,
It's
Johan Dotson.
Jahan, but
Okay, all right. Trade him to the Bears. Why Montez Sweat? Right? If you have all these assets and you can get something good in return, just do it. If you want to
Oh yeah.
rebuild, but think logistically about what you're getting in return. They don't have many draft picks. I don't believe Washington has many draft picks in the next few years. So
No, yeah, man. You
pretty
could see
interesting.
what they were doing, man. They were building up something. Like you could see, okay, they're not the greatest team right now, but give them a bit of time. They could turn into something, and they just
Yeah,
decided to throw all that out the window. Like honestly, I don't get it. But you
don't
know,
either.
I'm not paid to be an NFL executive, so what if I don't get it? But hey, man, seems to me like
yep.
they did the wrong decision. Sorry, Colin.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's. All right, we're gonna move on to the NFL Week 8 recap. So, a lot of interesting games. A lot of yeah, just a lot of interesting games. A couple upsets here and there. But let's start it
Yeah.
off with Thursday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills they beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, also, hold on.
I
Before
think that's the only game we all three of us got right, I believe.
no, I did not get that right. Actually, I do want to bring this up real quick. I almost forgot.
Curious what my
Um,
record is here.
yeah,
We
So
should keep
let's look at the
we should
records.
keep count of
I
who guesses
I am
correctly.
I put all of the records together. This is what we have come up with. Can you guys see my screen?
Wow, 8-8. All right.
Colin, myself 10-6, Mark's 8-8, Oscar's 9-7. Mark, very impressed with you. You said that if Taylor Swift didn't show up, the Broncos were gonna win. I said in the clip, I said let's move on. Obviously, the Chiefs are gonna win. You actually happened to get that right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because you're in last place right now. I don't know what
Yeah,
you feel
well,
about that.
change this week.
We'll
It'll
see.
change
Yeah,
this
this week
week.
could be major for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, all right. So now let's go over. As you know, I'm just really good at picking games, obviously. So let's go over them. I actually this Thursday Night Football I got wrong. I said the Buccaneers because
I believe me
I
and
don't
Mark
like
said
the
the
Bills.
Bills.
And if Chris
Hmm.
Godwin could have turned his head, they would have won.
Oh
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
no,
wasn't too
I've
far
never
Yeah.
off.
seen a Hail Mary drop on the ground with no one around it like that before.
That's
Yep.
insane.
All right, Jets Giants. This was the most pathetic football game
This
I've
is the
ever
worst game I've ever
watched
seen in my
in my
life.
entire life. The New York Jets finished with
It was the
negative
Punter Bowl.
9 passing yards. So guys, congratulations. We threw for more passing yards on Sunday than the New York Giants. Um, Also, something I mean, you just mentioned the Punters Bowl. I don't remember, it was one of the primetime games. They were voting for Player of the Week, and one of the nominees was Jets punter Thomas Morstead because he was
I
the
would
best
give him it.
player on the
I
field.
would give him
Yeah,
it.
no, it was ridiculous. I don't know how this was
This was
just,
this was a
such a bad
horrible.
game.
This is a horrible game.
And once
Absolutely
again,
atrocious.
The Jets
Thank
get
God.
away with
Thank God I
winning,
didn't watch it.
and they suck. Um, Commanders gave the Eagles a scare. I was really rooting for the
Hey
Commanders,
man,
but
I
AJ Brown's just
me and
ridiculous.
Mark were close, man.
Yeah.
The Commanders, they just
Yeah.
have an effect on the
No,
Eagles, man. And they were
we all picked the Commanders. I picked the Commanders as well.
oh,
Yeah.
I thought you picked the Eagles. My bad.
No,
Uh,
I don't pick for the
they
teams
just, bro,
I
for
want
some
to
reason, like the Commanders always they find a way
They
to beat the
always
Eagles, man. Yeah.
they upset the
They were
11
up.
and
They
0
were up the whole
Steelers
game
3
too.
years
Yeah.
ago.
They were up the whole
Yeah.
game as well.
Yeah.
I know. But they did make it close though. The Rams and the Cowboys, an absolute dominant performance. CeeDee Lamb was ridiculous. 12
Yeah.
catches, 158 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
That
And
is some Justin Jefferson stats right there.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb. There was a safety. The Cowboys just ran all over the Rams, and it really shows that the Cowboys, they're here to play. Now they're still going to fold in the playoffs. That's not really going to
Yeah.
change. But
How
in the
about them
regular season,
Cowboys? No, I'm
still doing
sorry.
really well.
Mm-mm.
Obviously,
Jags and Steelers.
Kirk
Jags
Cousins,
and Steelers.
Achilles,
Heartbreaker.
Jack Steelers. I mean,
It wasn't even a good game. I don't know if we can play
It was in
honest.
the rain. It was sloppy. I don't like
It
the
was
Jaguars. I
it
don't
was
want
a
them to
very
win.
sloppy game. I got that one wrong. I thought the Steelers
Yeah.
would find a win, and you know what? The Steelers could have won that game if they played some some more formatted football. Sadly, they had a few injuries on the field that
Yeah.
game, so it's very
Well,
sad.
I'm just gonna say something real quick about what you have on the screen now with the Titans and the Falcons.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Mike Vrabel, I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what you're doing. If you're watching this podcast or anyone affiliated with the Titans,
Oh my god.
Ryan Tannehill needs to be benched. Will Levis,
Yeah.
this guy should have been drafted in the first round last year. He dropped to you. You're lucky. Okay.
Okay, buddy.
This kid played. This kid played phenomenal, out of his mind. He needs to start for the rest of the season.
I think so.
I mean,
too.
that's
You know
it.
what? I completely
That's
agree
it.
with Mark. Will Levis played amazing. First, I know it's only one game, but if you could even keep half of what he did for the rest of the season, I think the Tennessee Titans would be beyond delighted with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
They could
I mean,
have a winning record.
It's really rare that you see a
Yeah,
rookie
man.
quarterback come in, play a really good first game, and then sustain that success for a long time. But I mean, Will Levis played out of his mind. 4 touchdowns is ridiculous.
mean-
And then look at that D-Hop stat line: 4 catches for 3 touchdowns
That
and
is Randy Moss right there.
128 yards.
Randy
Yeah,
Moss.
that
I mean,
was
you look
crazy.
at-
Good
look
for
at
Will
what
Levis.
Brock Purdy has done so far. Drafted Mr. Irrelevant, drafted last rookie quarterback
Yeah.
last year, came in and has been playing
Yeah.
great. I mean,
Hey,
That is
and
true.
and
That
we
is
gotta
true.
give credit to Derrick Henry too. He finally rushed above 100 yards, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
just it was a good offensive game by the Titans for the most
it's
part.
good,
So
it's good to see him get his bearings back. Yeah.
Yeah.
For him.
The Dolphins, they beat the Patriots. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey, welcome back, man. That interception was really
I
cool
love
to
to
see.
see
Beautiful.
that.
I'm really
I
happy
love
I
it,
got
man.
to see him.
I'm so happy he's back.
The Saints offense just went absolutely crazy. I mean, this is the team that's been putting up 10 points a game, and then 38 against the Indianapolis Colts. Derek Carr
Yeah.
played really well.
Alvin Kamara did
3
great,
catches
man.
for 153 yards is absolutely ridiculous by Rashid Shaheed. Battle of the number 1 overall pick, number 2 overall pick. Bryce Young won the first win of the season for the Carolina
first overall
Panthers.
pick. Wasn't Bryce Young the first overall pick?
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
I predicted this game correctly. I said it.
Yeah,
I called
you
it
did.
out.
You did, and then I called it out, and then I switched it because you called it out, and I didn't want to call it out as well. But yeah, I mean, Carolina Panthers, first game, it wasn't really that entertaining. I mean, look at the score, 13-15, but still good for the Panthers.
But both
Hopefully
teams
they
just
can
played.
get back
It
on
was a
track.
sloppy
But
game.
you
It
know
was
what?
pretty interesting.
If Bryce Young can continue to play like that, just every game he's getting slightly better, you can make a case by the end of the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
Maybe he wins rookie of the
That
year.
is true. Browns Seahawks. This was a good game. It really came down to the wire on a Jackson Smith and Jigba screen pass to win it.
I think
That was a good game. The Seahawks are rolling. The Seahawks are 5-2.
I think I also called this
some
one
good
for the
football.
Seahawks. I really like
Yep.
what the Seahawks have going on.
Yeah.
Seahawks are a great team, man.
Do you guys think it's fair to say that the Cincinnati Bengals are back?
If they play like that every week, yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
I think Joe Burrow, he's back, man.
I
think his injuries.
yeah, I
I
think
think
everyone's
he's overcome it,
overreacting
and
just a little bit, but
Jamar Chase
Yeah.
stat line absolutely
that's
insane.
that's a pretty satisfying stat line. 10, 101.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't like to see it because the Bengals in the AFC, but they are looking really nice right now. Joe Burrow looks like he's
Joe
completely healthy from
Burr.
that calf injury,
Brr.
and the 49ers continue to struggle. Chiefs Broncos absolute
Broncos country. That's right.
absolute
I think we all
just a
picked the
surprising
49ers, by
upset.
the way, right? We all got that game wrong.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
so.
yeah?
Now Patrick Mahomes did have the flu, except he did the exact opposite of Michael Jordan and played really poorly.
No longer,
we'll see if
no
they
longer
can
GOAT. You
recover.
can no longer call him the GOAT. He doesn't have a flu game, clearly.
Yeah, there you go. The Ravens looked like they were like beating up on the Cardinals pretty well until the end. The Cardinals in the fourth quarter dropped 17 points, and they made it a little close at the end. They actually recovered an onside kick, which was pretty
Yeah.
cool to see.
Colin,
And then they
what did I tell you? The Ravens are gonna win
what
this game, but the Cardinals they're gonna find a way to make it competitive, but let
yeah.
everybody down. I called it, man.
They're 1-7. The record would suggest that they suck, but they have a lot of grit and a lot of fight in them, and I think that came a lot from Josh Dobbs, and now he's no longer there anymore. So
Yeah.
we'll see how
Let's
Hey, man.
see if Kyler
continues.
At
Murray
the end of
comes
the
back
day,
and
even if you play good and you can't get that W, the only thing that matters is that win-loss column.
Yep.
Yep.
So they got to find ways to win games.
Yeah. Sunday Night Football, Bears Chargers. Not much to talk about here.
I mean,
the
Should
Bears-
have been a Sunday night game.
Yeah.
it wasn't that good of a game. The Bears played bad. I mean, wide open. That was just such an embarrassing play. If there was a
that's
Shaq and a
embarrassing.
fool for football,
My
that
sister
would be
could have made that catch, guys. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be completely honest. Like,
It's-
that's just
Yeah.
embarrassing.
It's good to see Austin Eckler's back and in a groove.
Yes.
And then this game
Yes.
over here, I don't know why both of you guys picked the Raiders to win so confidently, but
Because-
the Lions.
Well, I wasn't confident.
I
but
pick the
just-
Raiders
I have a
every
feeling.
week
Oh,
because
you
of
do?
Coach K. Raiders.
The receiving when the receiving leader for your team is your running back with 2 catches, something did not go really well for you. Jahmyr
Oh, yeah.
Gibbs, man, with Montgomery out, Jahmyr Gibbs has taken on a really big role in this team. 26 carries, 152 yards.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
looking really good right now for the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah.
Worth it.
So
It's not that I wanted to doubt the Detroit Lions. I think they're a great team. But hey, man, you win some, you lose some. I thought the Raiders, especially since, they had to start getting things right. I thought they were going to take it personal and have a good performance. But no, I think they let everybody down, especially Devontae Adams, poor guy.
Yeah. I hope he starts playing a little better for his sake. All right, last segment of the podcast. Time to predict Week 9 in the NFL. Once again, as always,
go.
Thursday night has not happened yet, but by the time you watch this, it will have happened. Will Levis have happened? So Will Levis, you guys think he's going to continue his streak here against the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I think against the Steelers defense, I don't think so.
No.
Well,
I
Did
think,
Minka Fitzpatrick get hurt? Is he playing? I thought he got hurt.
It's not even just that. I think
Minka got hurt. I think so did Kenny Pickett, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Steelers have a bit of injury. I picked them last week, but this week I'm gonna have to go with the Tennessee Titans. I think it's gonna be a really close game, but I think the Steelers are gonna have the reverse effect of what they've had so far in the season. Instead of finding ways to win the game, I think they're gonna find a way to lose this game somehow against what should be a easier opponent for them.
Yeah, even though Titans are, I think they're gonna struggle against the Steelers defense. I just don't see Steelers offense doing great, and I think I do have to go with the Titans as well.
Yeah. The Steelers, I mean, Mike Tomlin just wills them to win every single week.
Yeah.
And I don't know, terrible towels flying Thursday night at Acrisure Stadium or whatever they call it now. I don't know. It's just like they suck and they should never. They're like the Jets. They should not win any games, but they always
This
find a
shouldn't
way
be
to
a
win.
Thursday night game, to be honest.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's I don't know
It's
why.
just the Steelers
Every
black
single
magic,
Thursday night
man.
game is just bad.
Yeah, they should have
I'm
flexed
gonna-
it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know why every single Thursday night game is bad? Because the Dolphins don't have a Thursday night game this year. And you know
That's
what?
true.
Good on
I did
you.
see on the schedule.
Thank God we don't have a Thursday night game because I don't want to see anything remotely close to what happened last year. So good on you, NFL.
Yeah. Well, I did see in a couple. I don't know if when it is, but in very soon there actually is a Thursday night game that actually looks really good. I think it's like Chiefs Eagles or something like that. It's on Thursday night.
That's
so
gonna be a
that
great
should be
game.
good.
Oof.
With that said, I'm actually gonna go against you guys. I'm gonna pick the Steelers. I think the Titans should definitely win, but just they always find a way. So I'm gonna go with the Steelers. In Germany, Frankfurt, the Dolphins take on the Kansas
Almania.
City Chiefs.
Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren.
Oh, Oscar
Tyreek
was
Hill?
born in Germany, so he can translate the commentators for us if it is in German. But
Of course.
first of all, being German, Oscar, do you think that it's cool that there are games in Germany, or
Oh
how do
yeah,
you feel
I
about
was
that?
stoked ever since last year. I actually wanted to go watch this game because the Dolphins were playing in Germany. I was gonna
Yeah.
go with a friend of mine, but sadly it didn't pan out. But we were very close to actually going for the weekend and going to see
Cool.
the game. The tickets were surprisingly cheap. We found some tickets for
Oh,
$70. Not
wow.
like yeah. And so you know what? It couldn't happen, but I'm very excited about this game. I'm very excited about the idea of the NFL in Germany. I think a lot of Germans like the NFL. I think there's a very big passion for it in Germany, an untapped market there that the NFL is definitely going to go to try and strive for now. And who knows, maybe someday we'll see a bunch of German NFL players.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
good for me.
Yeah.
This is
That's true.
also the the game where Tyreek Hill faces the Kansas City Chiefs.
For the first time, yeah. And this
So
game was originally actually supposed to be taking place in Kansas City before they announced that it was going to be a Germany game. It's supposed to be in
so
Arrowhead.
this is gonna be fun, but I gotta take the Dolphins here.
Of course, got to take the Dolphins. I actually do think, not just because of bias, I genuinely think
Yeah,
the Dolphins are going to win
I
this
think
game.
so as well. I
think
think
it's
I
going to be
Tyreek
a
agree.
Hill's
really
gonna
close
put up
game,
an
though.
insane stat.
I agree. I mean, the
Oh, yeah.
Chiefs are really good, but they have been struggling a little bit lately. They don't have many receivers to throw the ball to, obviously, besides Travis Kelsey. And I think the Dolphins are finally going to have their breakout game against a good opponent, and everyone will shut up about us. So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the
And I
Dolphins are going to
think
win.
and I think Mark said it best. If Taylor Swift's not there, we can all eat our cereal in peace.
Mm-hmm.
If
Mm,
not,
yeah.
God,
Every day without
let
Taylor
us
Swift as a
pray.
game is a good
Let
day.
us pray.
All right. Vikings Falcons in Atlanta. What do you guys think?
You know what? Even though Kirk Cousins got hurt, uh, I like the offensive system the Vikings have. The Falcons are going through a bit of a midseason identity crisis. Although they had a very good quarterback play for them recently. I can't remember if it was this game or last game, but
Taylor
just
Heineke. Yeah, Taylor
Yeah,
Heineke will start.
Taylor Heineke is starting. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, Heineke is gonna start for them now, so he might put them over the edge. Who knows? I think Bijan Robinson got his first touchdown right
rushing
of the
touchdown.
season.
Yep.
Yeah, rushing touchdown of the season. They could win. I wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons won, but I'm gonna have to take
Yeah.
the Vikings, man.
It's an interesting take. I'm gonna take the Falcons. I think Taylor Heineke. He knows how he targets his players, and Bijan Robinson. He's gonna have to step up in his role. And now that he finally got his rushing touchdown, it seems like this team is getting a little more comfortable around each other and more involved with Drake London and their tight ends. So Vikings, I think they're gonna struggle this week a little bit with this rookie starting and taking all the first reps. I gotta go Falcons here.
Yeah, no, I
So
can see why.
Josh Dobbs is not
Josh
playing.
Dobbs will not be starting this week for the Vikings.
Yeah. Um. I don't know. This could go
It could
either
go either
way.
way.
Yeah, it could
I
go
just
either
Yeah.
way. I
like the
mean,
Vikings.
this could be a unexpected great game where both these teams are dropping 38 points, or it could be like 15
It's
to 13 like last week with the
it will
Panthers and
likely be a
Houston.
pleasant battle of mid.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'll go with the man. I want to say the Vikings because they're a better team, but this quarterback situation is messing me up. I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'll go with the Falcons. Bears and the Saints.
The Saints, especially
plain
The
after
and
last
simple.
week's
Saints.
performance, I gotta pick the
Yeah,
Saints. No
man.
questions. No
I got
questions
Yeah.
asked.
I'm
gotta
gonna
take
go
the
with
Saints here
the
as
Saints
well.
as well. Is Justin Fields coming back anytime soon, or is it still Mr. Bajent?
I think it's the man that lost to the Colorado School of Mines still playing.
Oh, okay. You got
So
to bring that up every time, man. All right.
always go
Uh,
Mines.
the Rams versus the Packers. These are two teams that you think would be really, really good, and they've been really good in the past, but they both suck right now.
Man, Aaron Rodgers versus Matthew Stafford. No,
Yeah,
Matthew Stafford versus Jordan Love. Are
Yeah,
you kidding me? Are you kidding
yeah.
me? It's the
I'm gonna go
Rams.
with the. I think the Rams. I'm going with the Rams.
Puka Nakua, he's going for 2 touchdowns this game.
I think. Yeah, man. With the way Green Bay's been playing, you can argue. I mean,
Yeah.
I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but you can argue they might be the worst team in the league. I think the Rams have a get back game, bounce back after what happened to them in Dallas. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Rams
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I think the loss of Rasul Douglas will help the Rams receivers get open a little bit more. The Commanders versus the Patriots. This is a really interesting game in the sense that they both suck.
Patriots are gonna struggle again. The usual. We're at that part of the cycle, right, where we go to the struggling part again. And
Yeah.
the Commanders, Sam Howell
Sam
played out
Howell.
of his mind last week,
Yeah,
and
they did.
I think that continues.
You think it continues? I mean, I was inclined to say the Patriots. They've had some recent success. I mean, apart from the Dolphins game, obviously. Um, they beat the Bills. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised with the Patriots win, but I think I'm gonna have to agree with you, Mark. I'm gonna go with the Commies, man.
Uh,
Colin, what's your take?
I'm gonna. I think I'll go with the Commanders. I think the Commanders are gonna win. Also, I don't like the Patriots.
Yeah,
Yeah,
screw the
that's
Patriots.
just how it is. Really, really, really good game actually. The Seahawks and the Ravens. This could be really interesting.
No, it's the best
Uh,
early slate game for sure.
Yeah,
yeah,
this is gonna be a
I'm
great game.
gonna. I don't know. I really like both of these. Well, I like the Seahawks more than I like the Ravens, but I do like both of these teams. I think they have really good players. They've been playing really well. With that said, I will go with the. Unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm in the same boat as you. I think I gotta go Baltimore
Yeah,
Ravens.
I
They're
think
playing great.
I think I gotta go Ravens, man. I'd love to be upset here, but I'm gonna go with the Ravens as well. I think we're gonna go
Yep.
with a 3 sweep there.
And then the Buccaneers versus the Texans.
Dude, I'm excited for this game. I
It's
can't
gonna be a
lie.
good game. Both teams trying to get a bounce back,
Yeah,
but gonna
I
have to
gotta
go
go
with the
Yeah,
Texans
Bucks.
here.
Texans.
I gotta go
Yeah,
with the Bucks, man.
man. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm gonna go. I like Baker Mayfield. I'll go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Next up, we got the Cardinals
Yeah, man. Baker Mayfield's
starting
been
the
having a pretty
rookie
good season for
quarterback.
himself this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
got the Cardinals versus the Browns. Personally, I'm going to go
The
with the
Browns,
Browns.
yeah,
I gotta go with the Browns.
the
Browns.
Browns should win this
The,
easily, I
the
think.
Browns defense is gonna dominate the Cardinals. That's not even a question.
Oh, we said that
Dude,
about the
these
Cowboys week 3, I believe, right? Yeah.
That's
I'm just
true, but
I mean,
we will
come
see.
on.
I just think the Browns are gonna
Um.
win. Browns should win this game. The
Yep.
Colts also win against Carolina.
Yep. Colts going against Carolina, the first game in the second window of games here on
Mhm.
Sunday. What are you guys thinking about that?
I think it's a Colts win.
Colts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
Panthers defense is riddled with injuries right now, especially their
Yeah.
cornerback situation. So, I think the receivers are gonna do pretty good. Jonathan Taylor, do all right
I
as
think
well.
so
So,
too. I agree. I'll go with the Colts as well. Okay, and next up is the Giants versus the Raiders. This is going to be a really, really boring game to watch. They both suck and they both been struggling. What do you guys think is going to happen?
I gotta go with the Raiders, man. I'm picking them for a second week in a row, but I hope they don't let me down. They should beat the Giants, especially if they play like last week. Come on now, let's go. I can't believe I'm saying
That
that.
is
Colin,
true.
what are you going
Let's
Yep.
go
with?
Raiders.
Who am I going to go with? I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Raiders. Raiders.
Raiders.
Coach K, that was for you, Raiders.
Ain't none of us
Man, I
Oh,
love
Raiders
man.
doing
fans,
that.
but I gotta get hypes, man.
All
Gotta
right.
get hyped for the Raiders, baby. Woo!
Uh,
Big matchup
Dang,
this week.
actually, now that I'm looking at it, this week has a lot of heaters. We got Chiefs, Dolphins, we got Seahawks, Ravens, and now we got Cowboys, Eagles, along with Bills, Bengals on Sunday night that we'll get to.
Yeah,
This is four really, really
I'm
good matchups.
hyped.
But first, Cowboys and the Eagles, battle of the NFC East. This is going to be a really, really close game. Personally, for me though, Dak Prescott is going to fold because that's what the Cowboys do.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to go with
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Philadelphia
I gotta go with
Eagles.
the Eagles. I just think they're gonna clinch it out. They know they're a very experienced veteran team. They know what they're doing. I think they're gonna beat the Cowboys.
Yep.
How about them Eagles?
Yeah,
Yeah,
how about
nice.
them
Yeah.
Eagles?
How about them
How about
Eagles?
them Eagles?
EAGLES. Eagles.
All right.
ELGLES Eagles.
Now we got a rematch of last year's AFC divisional round.
Funny.
We got the Bills and the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. This is actually going to be a really, really good game,
Oh
I
yeah.
think. What's going on, guys?
Whew, this is
I
a tough one
think-
to predict.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
this is
You know
tough
what?
stuff.
I think next week we're gonna be on this podcast and we're gonna talking about how the Bills are in trouble. Are they gonna make the playoffs? I already said it last week. I'm picking the Bengals.
Hey, you know I
Who
like
dey?
that take.
Let's go,
I
Who
like
Dey Nation.
Who Dey? Who Dey?
Who day?
Who
Dey the
Dey?
Who dey?
Bengals. Who Dey?
Yeah, I would like the Bengals to win here. It's gonna be a great game regardless. It's gonna be an
Yeah.
offensive showdown. Bengals,
Yep.
man.
I don't like both of these teams. But one team is in our division and the other team ain't. So for the one time, I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yep.
Last but not least, actually, never mind. Last and but least, Monday Night Football: the Chargers versus the Jets.
It would
We talked about this last week. How the Chargers have a lot of good players, but they always suck. And then the Jets are like their team is like not that
Good,
good with
but they're
Zach
winning
Wilson at
somehow.
quarterback, but they just win crazy
Yep.
games for some reason. If the Jets win this game, I I don't know football. Like, if the Jets win this game, I don't know what I'm gonna do because it
You know
doesn't make
what?
any sense. The
Let me-
Chargers absolutely should win.
Let me one up you. I'm gonna pick the Chargers for this matchup. All right. But let me one up you.
Yeah.
If the Jets win and the Bills lose, the Bills would be out of the playoffs as it stands. I think the Jets
Yeah.
would pass them.
That is true. That's
I think we
crazy
are
to think
about to get
That's a
an
crazy
absolute
sentence to say.
Keenan Allen masterclass of a game
I hope so. I
Mhm.
have him on my.
and an Austin Eckler masterclass of a game as
Yeah.
well. You know, we know Brees Hall has been doing really well. Dalvin Cook, little comeback. I think he gets a touchdown as well. Just my little prediction. I gotta go Chargers, man.
Yeah. All right.
This would be a masterclass.
Well, all
Well-
three of us are going with the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
Bolt up.
Well, thanks everyone for watching. Second
Oh, yeah.
episode of the Get It Right Saturday Night podcast.
It's been a great pod. Been a great
yeah.
pod.
Great
We
episode.
will see you all next week on the Get It Right Saturday Night podcast. Make sure you guys get it right every Saturday night, like how we do. Take it easy. Love you. Goodbye.
See y'all boys.
Have a good one, guys.